Russia unveiled its new nuclear sea monster, Khabarovsk, rolled out in a show of force, marking a major leap in its maritime deterrence. Russia calls it a landmark moment after successful tests of its Poseidon nuclear torpedo and Burevestnik cruise missile. Here's a report.
It's sleek, silent, and potentially apocalyptic. At a shipyard in Severodvinsk, northern Russia, Russia has rolled out its newest nuclear-powered submarine, K-329 Khabarovsk. This is a new, chilling dimension to Russia's nuclear arsenal, one that moves silently beneath the waves. Built under a secretive project, Khabarovsk is no ordinary submarine. It's designed to carry out Poseidon nuclear torpedoes, autonomous underwater drones with virtually unlimited range. Each Poseidon can carry a nuclear warhead of up to 100 megatons, capable of generating radioactive tsunamis to obliterate coastal cities. Russia calls it an unstoppable deterrent. The United States and NATO have reportedly not acknowledged having any system capable of intercepting a deep-sea nuclear drone like Poseidon. Unlike traditional nuclear missiles, it cannot be stopped by missile shields, satellites, or anti-ballistic defense systems. The Khabarovsk is expected to join Russia's Pacific Fleet, where it will operate alongside the Belgorod, another special-purpose sub armed with Poseidons. But experts warn this launch is just the beginning. The vessel will undergo sea trials before full commissioning, which is expected around 2026.
This carrier of underwater weapons and robotic systems will enable us to successfully secure Russia's maritime borders and protect its national interests in various parts of the world's oceans. The vessel still has a series of sea trials to complete. I wish the crew and the commissioning team every success in conducting them.
The launch sends a clear message. Russia's underwater deterrence is expanding, despite sanctions, isolation, and a costly war in Ukraine. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Joining us live from Berlin is Joachim Bitterlich, who's the former German ambassador to NATO and former European diplomatic and security advisor to German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. It's good to see you, Ambassador. Khabarovsk was launched today after the Poseidon and the Burevestnik cruise missile. How do you see it? Is it a nuclear arms race escalating?
In a certain way, yes. You have to see what's the situation. The Russians have to underline now that they are in force to react to any threat from the West. The Russians are under pressure, really under pressure in Ukraine. Putin is not able to reach his war goals in Ukraine. It's clear up to now. He is sticking, let's say, to parts of Ukraine, but not to take it over as a whole, as intended. And at the same time, it's interesting to see this comparison of the last days. The Russians have launched Khabarovsk plus Burevestnik, this long-range cruise missile. And at the same time, the Ukrainians have launched the pure production of their cruise missile, of Flamingo. Something able to reach, let's say, objectives deeper in Russia, 3,000 kilometers ahead from Ukraine. And this explains a bit this mood. It's not a disruption, no, it's a certain relaunch, it's a certain escalation. It's in order to frighten the West, in order to frighten the public opinion in the West. This is the aim. And we are much more open, let's say, to threats from other nations, especially from the East. And therefore, it's the attempt to frighten the West.
Attempt to frighten the West indeed. Ambassador Bitterlich, let's talk about NATO, because NATO is concerned about these incursions. Do you actually see this as Russia's bid to reinforce its strategic edge over NATO? And in that case, where do you see the Russia-Ukraine war heading?
Well, it's in a certain way, it's the Russian attempt to underline to NATO, we are at least at the same level as you. Perhaps in certain areas we are a bit better than you are. Therefore, we are threatening the West. Therefore, you have a keen interest in negotiate with us within our conditions, not yours. And it's clear. And please look at the same time, the British Navy is developing a sort of net reaching from Greenland to the British Islands in order to control Russian underwater activities, direction Atlantic, North Atlantic, direction Europe. This is this interesting side. It's, let's say, a certain re-escalation on various fields, even with regard to NATO. And perhaps we have missed something in the Western world. It's this lack of conventional deterrence towards the Russians. This is perhaps our missing element in the past. But I think Americans and Russians will have an interest to look at this soon. And this is perhaps the interest for a summit between both sides, as if the Americans give up their renouncing to nuclear tests, the Chinese will be open to do it. And if you read well Trump's declaration, he has been making allusion to this. And because he sees the Russians try to make up to get the same level, and at the same time, the Chinese will reach our level or our common level in 5 years. And therefore, there is a certain, let's say, interest of the Americans, it's an interest of the Chinese, and perhaps an interest of the Russians to talk again about, let's say, nuclear dissuasion.
All right. Ambassador Bitterlich, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you for talking to us today.
A pleasure as always.